everyone, it's Belinda. I'm here with a quick video today to show you a tag that I made for a swap on the Scrap Beach. The theme of the swap was the 12 days of Christmas, and the day that I selected was 7 swans a swimming. So this is my tag, and the reason I'm making this video is it's a tutorial, but it's really to show you a couple of the techniques that I used on this tag that I thought were kind of fun and interesting, so that's the purpose for this. Before I start, I have to thank my friend Jan Nyers in Idaho. If it weren't for Jan, I would probably still be out there somewhere trying to find a swan image for this tag. She found this gorgeous, gorgeous image for me, and it was perfect. It really set the stage for this whole tag. So this is the front side of the tag. There's a little charm here and a rosette and some feathers fluffed in here. And then here's the back. And then this ticket pulls out and it has the date, and it also has the information about the swap just written in there. So that just tucks in behind this image. So that's the front and the back, and so I'm going to go through some of the steps that I did to create this tag, and I'm going to just do a few of the steps that I did to create this tag, and we'll set these aside here. So for the cover, this is the paper from the Ella Blue, and I used Tim Holtz Distress Ink, brushed corduroy, and frayed burlap. And we're just going to tape these down. This is my own tag. It's not going in the swap, so if I'm a little careless, other people in the swap won't pay the price. Okay, and then here's that swan image that Jan gave me. Isn't that beautiful? Just perfect. And I mounted on that that kind of glimmery cardstock, that latte color. So it's just, I think it's really pretty. Okay, and then for the bottom here, I used some feathers, and unfortunately I don't have my bag of feathers handy, so I won't do that step. But this piece right here is a rosette using the Tim Holtz rosette die, and I used acetate, and I ran acetate through there. And then I brushed the edges with StazOn. Let me grab it. It was StazOn Platinum. So it StazOn Metallic Platinum. It just gave this a kind of a cool look. It almost looks like a sliver of mica. I just thought it was very cool looking, very vintage looking. So this will, there are feathers that will go on this tag right here, and I'll show you on this one, or this one. This one's got a lot. So there's a spray of feathers that go underneath the snowflake. The snowflake is adhered right here. And then on top of that, I used this Cuttlebug Ice Crystal die and embossing folder to do the snowflakes, and they're cut out of that glistening pearl paper. So I just simply hot glued it on to the center of my rosette, and then I added this little transparent snowflake here. I'm sorry, I can't remember who made those snowflakes. I bought them, I think, last year. So they've been in my stash for a while, but they're perfect with this paper collection. Okay, then that goes there. And then I added a little bling. These are Recollections blings from Michaels. I added that to the center of the snowflake just to give it a little more sparkle, because, you know, I like a little more sparkle. So that's that snowflake. And then for this snowflake, I have this little ivory glittery snowflake. And then I used my flower punch and cut some acetate flowers. I ran them through an embossing folder to give them a little texture. I don't think it really matters which one. It just had to have something with a lot of lines on it. And then I brushed over the top of that with that StazOn Platinum. So I just wanted to give it a little more interest. So I just layered that right here. And then I put the same little bling on the back of this one, and used the bling to actually anchor the snowflake to the acetate. And then I want the snowflake to pop off the page a little bit. So I used a foam square on the back. And then it goes right about here. Okay, so I'm not going to glue this on right now because I don't have my feathers handy, but that's where that goes. And then let's do the back. Well, I should have done the back first. Oh, it's okay. So for the back of this tag, what I used was a 3/4 inch strip cut from a part of the Ella Blue paper line, and then just a little, I think this was maybe 2 3/4, and it fits right here. So we'll put these down. Okay, now this right here is what's left after you cut this little snowflake out. So you see that? And I thought I had, 14 of these and I didn't want to throw them away. I thought they were kind of pretty. So what I did was I adhered these to the back of the tag. Okay, and see, because all these little edges would lift up, I didn't want those to catch on anything. So I used another one of these sparkly snowflakes, and I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue there. And it doesn't show through your tag, so that's kind of nice. Even though this is acrylic tag, I can put hot glue on it and it's not going to interfere with the look of the tag. So I press down there, and then I'm going to add this last little bling to the center of this tag, of this snowflake. And that's going right there. Okay, so next I need to put this stamped image. This was stamped on a piece of pearlescent vellum, and I used black StazOn for that. So I'm going to use this as a little pocket to tuck that tag in with the swap information on it. So I'm just going along the top and the bottom and just catching that point right there. Something just fell in my craft room. I don't know what it was. Okay, so I'm going to mount this right about here. Okay, and it gives you just a nice little pocket for this little ticket. I also have to thank my very dear friend Jan in Idaho for these tickets. She sent me a little stash of them, and they're perfect with this paper. I wanted something to include the swap information on, and that just did the trick. Okay, so that's the back of the tag. We've got a little glue string fuzz going on here. We'll get that out of the way. Back to the front. For this part of the tag, I did not use my Tim Holtz die to cut these tag shapes out. I just cut rectangles and notched the corners. And because I did that, they didn't have holes in them. So what I had to do was find a way to put a hole in here that sort of made sense and put the hole where it should be. So I just took a little shipping tag and I lined it. Oh, I better do it on the right side. I just lined it up on the bottom till it looked like it was in the center. And then I marked it. So I knew where to put my hole. This is the little ribbon that goes on the tag. So it looks like that. So I showed you the back. I showed you this tag. This one doesn't have the ribbon on it. This one, I'm going to put this little ribbon right underneath the eyelet. So I want to talk to you first about how I did this. I needed a title for my tag, and I didn't want to use paper. I wanted to use ribbon. And I know with this vintage seam binding, you can print on it. Actually, you can print on a lot of different kinds of ribbon, so I wanted to show you how that works. If you just use your computer, your laptop, print out what you want to say, take your ATG gun and run a strip of adhesive right across. Can you see that right where this one's a swimming is? This was the first time I tried it, and this font is smaller than what I ended up using, but you'll get the idea. Then you take your plain vintage tape without anything on it, and you just stick it down over the tape, the adhesive, and then run that through your printer, and it prints right on the seam binding. Okay? Try it on a lot of different things. You can make some really cool effects. Your ribbon should be thin and it should not have a wire in it because you don't want it to catch as it's going into your printer. But for printers that usually will print on photo paper, you can use this. It will work. Okay. So anyway, that is my little my title for my tag. And I'm just going to trim this ribbon a little bit. Trim it the other way. Just cut it the wrong way. and I just line it up over that eyelet. Part of it's going to catch when I set the eyelet. Okay. Then I'm going to cut it right there and slide my eyelet in, leaving the ribbon in place. And then I set this eyelet and it sets the ribbon right there. Okay? Isn't that fun? The last couple of steps here for this tag would be to add the ribbons at the top. So this is a piece of wire edged ribbon from Michaels. I cut the wire edges off and I cut it in half. So I'm going to use that. And then I have this really pretty silvery glittery fabric from Joann's, and I just cut a short strip of this. It's not perfect. It doesn't have to be. It's going to look fine on the tag. So I layered these two together and put them through the eyelet. And then I used, I don't know if you see this around much anymore. It's been a long time. I have a big giant bag of this. It's a big mess snarl of this. But I did manage to free a couple pieces so I could show you what it looks like and then what it does. It's kind of a metally tinsel, coiled up stuff. And it's really cool because when you stretch it, it stretches really long. It's wire, and so it'll hold some shape. So I used it in a couple places in this little mini. First I used it in the bow right here. You can see it's just give you a little bit of a glimmer to it. And then I also used it to suspend this little pendant charm right here with the number 7 on it. So we're going to put the bow on first. So to do this, I just took the wire, wrapped it around 3 fingers, cut it off, and then twisted it in the center like that. Okay, so then you end up with this kind of a shape. Alright, and I'm going to lay this down right on top of my ribbon. And then I'm going to tie this off right here. And then I will trim up the edges of the ribbon here. I don't want to run out of time. The last step is this little tiny pendant. I use this Quick Cuts die, sorry for the glare, to cut this little pendant shape. I stamped a number 7 on it and I embossed it with glitter emboss. And then I just coiled the end up on the end of this. And I'm going to put hot glue and I'm going to attach it right underneath the snowflake. I'm just going to slide it right under and it will stay just fine. And then that will be all that tag needs. It'll need some feathers on it, but this one is fine. So that is my 12 Days of Christmas tag for the swap. It's 7 Swans of Swimming. Thank you, Jan. You helped me out immensely. Yeah, I couldn't have done this tag without your help. I also want to give a special recognition to another Jan that I have recently come to know. She's in England, and she contacted me about this Halloween mini, and I agreed to send this to her. So Jan in England, this mini will be on its way to you on Monday. I hope you enjoy it. It's my favorite mini so far, and I'm really happy to know that it's going to somebody that is going to appreciate it as much as I enjoyed the process of putting it together. So thank you for contacting me. I'm happy to send this your way. Enjoy it. And I'd love to see what you've done with it after you add the pictures. So for everyone, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Stay safe, and I'll be back again soon. Bye-bye.